In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Hurricane Canless Air system. Just this little lightweight black piece of plastic with a trigger and a nozzle. Right now I've got it plugged in, so it was charging. So we've got this at full bore. So basically what this does is it supposedly is to replace an air can. And right off the bat, you'll notice it's considerably louder, and the nozzle isn't nearly as fine of a pitch, or a caliber, excuse me. It's a much bigger caliber in that nozzle. So it does have a lot of air coming out of it, but it's not nearly as concentrated as, say, a can of air like this. So I'm going to do a couple of comparisons here, and I have several cans of air, and these are brand new cans of air, and they are at room temperature. So much quieter, and being that this nozzle is considerably smaller, it does provide more of a pressure. And I'll take like a piece of paper here and we'll do a little comparison. So and then, I mean, that thing blew the paper right out of my fingertips. So the Canless Air does have considerably more power. And it's starting to drop off a little bit now, and the can's getting pretty cold. But it still is more powerful than the canless system. Yeah, it's dropped off to about half what it was. And right now it's probably the same to me. Yeah, so right now it's probably the same. And then from here, obviously it drops off more and more. To where, so maybe the first 30 seconds of this can is more powerful than this canless system. Quieter, but now the bottle is very, very cold. When it warms up, it'll obviously gain some pressure back, but if I feel like that was 30 seconds and by weight it feels like I've used about half of the contents of this. So you could get maybe you could get 2 solid minutes with this particular thing. You'd get a lot more here. I forget what they're claiming, but I've had it running on a full charge for like 5-10 minutes before, and with no it didn't seem like it was diminishing in power at all. So if you're looking for the power of a can of air, this doesn't have it, but it does do pretty well in computer dusting. And then these guys are great, but just very expensive. And then obviously when you turn them upside down and the fluid comes out, you get that cold hazardous fluid. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it is not good. So anyway, still I think the best route is still an air compressor, like a shop air compressor, turning it down to, I usually use 50 or 60 psi, and I find that 50 to 60 psi works really well. Just make sure if you use one of those, always use a water collector or a condensation collector, air filter type thing, to make sure that you don't get any condensation coming out or any impurities coming out at high pressure. So anyway, that is my look at the Hurricane, and like I said, it's great, except just doesn't have this doesn't have the pressure coming out. It's got airflow. In fact, if they were able to make that nozzle any smaller, and I have experimented with using smaller nozzles, but then the motor can't provide the pressure at that point. So this nozzle is about as good as it gets with this particular unit. Okay, so that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.